Hello, welcome to the European Open briefing for Friday, July the 27th. I'm Rafi Barajan, currency analyst at XM.com, and we're going to be taking a look at what's happening in the currency markets today. The US dollar has bounced back from two-week lows it touched yesterday as market attention shifts to US GDP numbers due later today, where a strong reading is expected. We can see that the dollar has given back some of those gains so far today. Those gains came overnight. We can see dollar index slightly lower, and of course the yen itself has been broadly stronger this week on the back of expectations that the Bank of Japan at its policy meeting next week will announce some tweak to its stimulus program. We can see the dollar is struggling to hold above the 111 level. If we look at equities markets, we can see they're fairly mixed. Chinese markets still being weighed by concerns about a possible trade war between the US and China, and following that deal with the EU, where the two sides agreed to start negotiations on lowering tariffs. That puts more pressure on China to make some sort of compromises, and that truce between the US and EU did help stocks of industrial goods and as well as on car manufacturers, particularly in Europe, though the tech sector has been hit by a slump in Facebook's shares. So that's why we've got a bit of a mixed bag in equities market, though overall we do have positive risk sentiment, and we can see modest gains at the start of European trading today. Yesterday we did have the European Central Bank meeting, where Mario Draghi reiterated the European Central Bank's dovish rate hike path, and we saw sharp falls in the euro yesterday. The euro is attempting to recoup some of those losses this morning. We can see it's slightly higher at 1.1644 against the dollar this morning. The pound also fell sharply yesterday. The EU's chief Brexit negotiator, Michel Barnier, ruled out a key component of UK Prime Minister Theresa May's customs agreement, customs partnership plan, so that cast doubt over the Brexit negotiations weighing on sterling. We can see it's currently trading just above the 1.31 level. If you look at commodities, oil prices are seeing a bit of a corrective move this morning, down by 0.25%. That's WTI, following 3 days of gains boosted by a drop in US inventories, as well as Saudi Arabia halting shipments of oil through a key shipping lane in the Red Sea. Gold, we can see it's just slightly higher this morning. And looking at the main performers, Aussie dollar, having fallen sharply yesterday, is the biggest gainer so far this morning, and at the bottom we've got WTI crude oil. Let's take a look at the dollar index. We can see it had fallen yesterday before rising sharply, mainly on the back of the slump in both the euro and the pound. The immediate focus is on the GDP numbers due later today out of the US, where growth in the second quarter is expected to come at an annualized rate of 4.1%. There are rumors that the figure will be much higher than this, and that's also been helping drive the greenback higher. We also have higher treasury yields. The yield on 10-year treasury notes first got a boost earlier in the week on that speculation that the Bank of Japan will scale back its own bond purchases when it meets next week. And then we had that EU-US agreement to start trade talks. So all of that has been positive for treasury yields, and that's also been supporting the greenback. We're seeing the 10-year yields rising to 6-week highs. Let's now take a look at the dollar-yen pair, because although the dollar has been broadly stronger against other pairs, it has been struggling against the yen. We can see those declines since late last week, early this week on Monday, and it has since been trading sideways. It did touch a 2-week low earlier in the week, but at the moment it's currently hovering around the 111 level. So the Bank of Japan there are speculation that Bank of Japan will announce some changes to its policy on Tuesday when it concludes its 2-day meeting. We've already seen the yield on 10-year Japanese government bonds rising to a 1.5-year high of 0.11% today. So it's quite possible what we're going to see is only a modest tweak to its policy. Nevertheless, the speculation has sent yields higher, and the yen also mostly higher against the dollar, against the euro, and the pound, and it's heading for weekly gains. Quick look at the euro, because we can see those losses yesterday after Mario Draghi at his press conference following the European Central Bank policy meeting said that market expectations of a rate hike in October 2019 are well aligned with the bank's own views. There was some expectations that a rate hike could come before that, possibly in July or September, but the fact that we shouldn't be expecting a rate hike before October next year has been dovish in terms of market perception. We can see the euro slid from as high as 1.1743 yesterday to a 1-week low of 1.1634 this morning. And looking at today's economic calendar, we can see the GDP numbers are due at 12:30 GMT, and we can see that we did have some pretty surprises out of Australia earlier today, which was slightly softer but didn't really impact the Aussie that much. That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.